Hey there, and welcome back. Today we're doing a bit of a deep dive into something, relationships. Specifically, what are some signs that maybe, just maybe, a relationship isn't quite built to last?
Yeah, it's important stuff because you invest so much,
Yeah.
right? Time, energy, emotion. You kind of want to know if the ground you're building on is solid.
Exactly. So our aim here is to unpack some recent findings, give you a quick handle on patterns that might signal trouble ahead.
One of the first big ones that seems to surface is a real lack of security when you're not physically together. It's this almost like an emotional hole opens up when they're not around.
Huh. So not just like, oh, I miss you, but something deeper, like an anxiety.
Exactly. It's less, I miss your company, and more, I feel fundamentally shaky or incomplete without you right here. Maybe even, suspicious about what they're doing.
Right, right.
Our research really points to lasting relationships, needing trust, and needing actual space for people to have their own lives, their own growth. If there's this constant need for reassurance or this almost obsessive closeness.
Like needing constant updates or check-ins.
Yeah, or feeling that emptiness when they're just, living their life, it suggests the security wasn't really built in the relationship itself. It's kind of like trying to use the other person to patch a hole inside yourself, which, spoiler alert, doesn't really work long term.
That makes a ton of sense. Okay, what's another pattern that's been showing up?
Another big one we've seen is feeling like you just can't be your actual self around your partner.
Oh, interesting. Like putting on a mask.
Totally. Think about it. If you're always adjusting what you say, how you act, maybe even hiding your, dorky hobbies or your messy habits just to please them or avoid conflict.
Yeah.
It's like trying to run a marathon while holding your breath, You might manage for a bit, but eventually, poof, you're just going to collapse. It's exhausting.
So that effort, that constant performance, it's just not sustainable, is it?
Not at all. The evidence really suggests that real connection, the kind that lasts, is about finding someone who actually likes your true face, warts and all. If every day feels like you're auditioning for the part of perfect partner, well, that relationship's probably on shaky ground.
And I suppose that ties into bigger things like fundamental differences. What about things like values or just how you live your life?
Absolutely. That's a huge one. It appears the major hurdle is when you can't really blend into each other's wider world. We're talking social circles, family, maybe even just really different core values or daily rhythms.
So it's not just about liking different music, but bigger stuff.
Yeah, like, say, one person really thrives on quiet nights, reading, early bedtimes, and the other is all about late nights, big groups, constant activity. Total chaos, maybe glorious chaos, but still chaos.
Huh. Like an early bird trying to share a nest with a bat.
Kind of. And look, those differences can be attractive at first, right? Opposites attract and all that jazz. But our findings suggest that over time, if your basic ways of operating in the world are too different.
The initial spark fades.
Yeah. And the desire to even share things starts to shrink. Their world feels alien. Your world feels boring to them. That creates a gap, a distance. That simple attraction just can't keep bridging forever.
And I bet that distance can fuel arguments, right? What did the research show about conflict?
Well, what we're seeing is that really frequent arguments, or actually the flip side too, the silent treatment, that kind of cold violence, those are major red flags.
Okay, so not just disagreeing sometimes.
No, disagreement is normal. Handled well, it can actually be like lubricant for the relationship. You address the friction, things run smoother.
Yeah.
But constant fighting over tiny things, we're just shutting down completely.
That's different.
Totally different. It just drains the life out of the connections, like running the engine with no oil, And often these blow-ups or shutdowns aren't even about the socks on the floor or whatever.
They're symptoms of something deeper.
Seems like it. Our findings suggest they often point back to those clashing core values, that fundamental incompatibility we talked about. It's like the relationship's check engine light flashing away.
Wow. Okay, so we have insecurity apart, not being yourself, incompatible worlds, and these really draining conflict styles. Is there a final sign that stood out?
The fifth one that really emerged is this constant attempt to change the other person. And this one's tricky, right?
How so?
Well, our investigation suggests that real healthy love isn't about finding someone and then chipping away at them until they fit your perfect mold. It's supposed to be about two people growing, maybe influencing each other a bit, refining perspectives together.
Not a renovation project.
Exactly. It's not about fundamentally re-engineering who they are, because if you're always trying to change them, What does that really say?
That you're not actually in love with them.
Precisely. You're probably in love with a fantasy, an idea of who they could be if only they just do X, Y, Z. And that pressure, it's immense. It makes the whole thing uncomfortable, unsustainable for everyone. It just doesn't work.
That's a really powerful point.
Yeah, and what we've generally seen is if you start noticing, say, 3 or more of these patterns consistently showing up in your relationship, it's probably worth hitting pause and taking a really honest look.
Right. So wrapping this up then, it sounds like a healthy, lasting connection feels, well, comfortable. There's trust. There's room for both shared life and individual space. You can be yourselves. You can handle disagreements without meltdown or shutdown. And you support each other's separate lives, too.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe here's a final thought, something for you to chew on. If the relationship you're in isn't really a source of growth, comfort, and acceptance for both of you, what might that be telling you about the foundation it's built on? Something to maybe explore in your own deep dive.